So pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm not greeting correctly. Pleasant good evening, NNPites. All right. A pleasant good evening. We are going to officially start this evening's meeting. And so we are going to start by having an opening prayer. The opening prayer will be done by Miss Ann Rose Charles. So wherever you are, we're asking persons to please stand as we have the opening prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God and eternal Father, as we gather here tonight to have this meeting, oh God. Father God, we ask you to take charge, take control, to lead, guide, and direct. Mighty God, we lift up our political leaders, all the candidates and caretakers before you tonight, asking you, oh God, to have your will and have your way in their lives. And each and every one of us who is here tonight, oh God, I ask you, oh God, to bless us, help us, oh God, as we go about doing the work we have to be doing. Father God, we know, God, that these people have planted and we are going to water. And Lord Jesus, we are looking unto you to give us the increase. We know, oh God, that you're still in the miracle working business and you will come true for us, oh God. So tonight, I ask you to have your will, have your way in this meeting tonight. If there is anything what is hindering this meeting tonight, mighty God, we ask you to mash it up, break it up, root it up in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Lord God, we know, oh God, that you are still in the miracle working business. And oh God, we know that you would come true for us in time of need. Lord, take charge, take control, lead, guide, and direct. And we ask all these mercies in no other name but in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen and amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Please continue standing as we pay respect to the nation. So wherever you are right now, we are going to sing the national anthem. So wherever you are right now, we're asking that you stand as we sing the national anthem. 2, 3. Hail, Grenada. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And so, now we pay respect to our party, the party song. Mr. DJ. So let's sing along. Working for my party, faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the end. Let's sing again. Count on me, working for my party, faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might. Final time. Count on me, working for my party, faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the enemy. All right. and gentlemen, a pleasant good night. St. Patrick's East, a pleasant good evening to each and every one of you guys. And so, we want to recognize among us our political leader, Sister Emmeline Pear, who's just joined us. A pleasant good evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for another village meeting. And at this stage, yes.
Endorsing the Honorable Evelyn Pear for the Southeast constituency.
Ladies and gentlemen,
she's like a mother to we. Yes,
our
this
political
lady
leader
carries nothing but royalty. Yes, this lady, I am sure that she got her back. And if you don't believe me, then sit down and listen to facts. Honorable Evelyn Pear, we know you have done your best. All when times get rough with others good.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The persons here can have their seats as we get ready to officially commence. Ladies and gentlemen, as is usually said in local terminology, let's start off with a bang today. Yes, our very first speaker, young and vibrant, newly selected caretaker for St. Patrick's West. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than our dear brother, Brother Janani Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me first acknowledge the presence of our esteemed political leader and soon to be first female Prime Minister in waiting, Honorable Emmeline Pear. Our sister from St. Mark, Honorable Clarice Modescoing. My brother from St. Patrick's East and fellow St. Patrician, Brother Bertrand John. All the members of the executive of the St. Patrick's East constituency group. Ladies and gentlemen, all. Pleasant good evening to all of you. Are you ready? Are you ready? If you're ready, let me hear you say NNP. NNP. That's right. And we all know what we have in the NNP. So friends, tonight, as we come to River Sallee, please allow me to lend your ear for a few moments so that I can share with you a few points. First and foremost, I am overly concerned. Are you concerned? Are you concerned? I am concerned too. And there are a few simple things that I am concerned about. One of those things, especially in St. Patrick, is that of our ability to feed ourselves, our ability to purchase the food that we even produce here in St. Patrick West. Well, and St. Patrick's East, for that matter of fact. Friends, when we look at the goods that are sold in the marketplace on a Saturday, on a Friday at Sotez, most persons who come to the market return home with the goods that they come with. And that is not because the goods are not good. They come with wonderful products. However, the customers that they come to serve cannot afford to purchase the goods at the price it is being sold. So can you imagine, right here in St. Patrick, after Hurricane Beryl, our farmers returning to the land, planting the yams, the catch crop, only to find that when they take their produce to the market, it still cannot be sold because our fellow practitioners cannot afford to purchase it at the price it has to be sold. And that is concerning on many levels. You know why? We often promote the idea of grow local, eat local. Why? Because local is more organic, it's healthier for us. We know what we're eating, we know what we are putting into our bodies, we know the nutrition and the health that benefits that comes from that. So when we are outpricing ourselves from our own nutrition that we know is best from us, it is a sad day. Added to that, the goods that we have to now purchase at the supermarkets, in the local shops. I challenge you, go to the local shop and ask for these 5 items. You're going to ask for a tube of toothpaste, a toothbrush, a pack of soap powder, a deodorant, body lotion, and a bottle of grease. 6 items. 6 items. If you don't go with $100, you owe the shop. Now, do we find any of those 6 items are luxurious items? These are items that should be present in the homes of each and every citizen. But the mere fact that these things are so expensive and outpriced for the ordinary man and woman, it is a shame. Added to that, in St. Patrick, all of the wholesalers and so on, they add $1 or $2 to their products because of the cost of transportation. Friends, I remember when the New National Party made a decision to reduce or to stabilize the cost of gas, so that with that stability, persons know what the cost of fuel is going to be and you can factor that into your business costs. Now it fluctuates, sometimes up to $18, $19, sometimes down to $14. But because of these changes, companies are adding these extra charges for transportation to curtail that cost. And because of that, we in St. Patrick have to pay more for goods and services than our counterparts in St. George's. So we cannot eat the food that we are importing and coming into our supermarkets and shops. We cannot eat the food that we produce in our lands because it's too expensive, the cost is too much. Friends, yam, $8 a pound. Tomatoes, $8 a pound. Cabbage, $15 a pound. Yes? Come on. Breadfruit got to as high as $20 for one. Never before. Imagine. People are now calling the radio station to report that even the gamble is broke these days. Even the gamble is broke these days. That's the extent to which things are hard in the rural areas. And as such, friends, we have to look for solutions to these problems. And our government is in the right place to find solutions to these problems. And so far, all of the tactics that they have employed, the tax breaks at the ports, we never benefited from them to this day. The prices in the shops never went down. Not one day. Up, well, they had the right song, you know. It's up and up and up and up. I just never knew that song was about food prices in Grenada. So friends, we have to make the changes that are necessary. Look into your pockets. Check your pockets. Don't be fooled by all the gimmicks and all the social media and all of the pictures and all of the motorcade and all of that. Don't be fooled by that. Look in your pockets. Look around your community. And you tell me if you have seen an improvement over the past 3 years. The answer to that is a resounding no. Now you have to ask yourself why. Why is it that the cost of agriculture products keep going up? The cost of goods at the shops keep going up? What is our government doing about it to help create a cushion for the poor persons in these rural areas? Friends, now this is a serious matter, you know. If you look in recent history, you would recognize that our health statistics are pointing out clearly. Pay attention. It's pointing out clearly that we have a growth in the number of persons who are dying or being affected by communicable diseases. And here we're talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, persons falling to cancer. The growth rate in that has been astronomical. And a lot of it, in my opinion, may have to do with the types of foods that we're eating. We cannot no longer afford the local foods, and therefore we're eating foods with all the preservatives and all of the additives in it that are now affecting our bodies. And we have to stand up and say, no, we want to be able to afford to eat the food that we grow, the food with the backyard manure, the food with all the things that we need. Friends, before I leave, let me just touch this last point. Our rural economy is in shambles. And when we're talking about the rural economy, let's pay attention to what I'm talking about here. It's our ability to afford goods and services right here within our rural communities in St. Patrick. It is the cost of these goods and services to us. It is our ability to create employment within our own St. Patrick area, St. Mark, St. Andrew. It is that ability to, whether it be through agriculture, tourism, health, and all the other service industries, construction. Friends, if it was not for Hurricane Beryl, we probably would never see construction taking place in St. Patrick. And even at that, now we have complaints that the labor force for the construction, for the Build Back Better homes, is not enough. They can't find people. Well, like all of a sudden, Nulo closed down. Tamsisi closed down. What happened to all the training of our young persons who have gone into the construction field? Where are they? And if we continue to train young people in those fields, and yet for all they're turning away from employment in that industry, then something else is wrong. You want to build these homes and build all sorts of things at such cost-effective prices that the young people getting paid are turning away from the industry because it's not worth their time and their efforts. And you hear very often a lot of these young people complaining about that. Our farmers are not getting the assistance that they need. St. Patrick, the receiving stations up here, account for a large percentage of the island, the national production, the collection of nutmegs. Since Hurricane Beryl, that have cut by over 50%. It means that our nutmeg farmers are producing less, and with the replanting and regrowth, it's going to be another 20 years before we get back to where we want to be. We have already mentioned the local vegetable farmers and so on. Their products at the market is coming back home. So what are our people supposed to survive on? Where is the jobs for the people in St. Patrick? Where is the investment into the industries in St. Patrick? Where is our blue economy? Where are our projects? Nothing. Look around River Sallee. You point to me and tell me, Where are the processing, the agro-processing investments that we spoke about? Look around River Sallee and tell me how many people are still suffering from tarpaulin under the galvanized in their houses. Right? That is after $118 million in CRIF money to deal with that. Where are the 200 homes for St. Patrick's East and West in the supplementary budget from last October? If you add the houses in St. Patrick's East and West together, you probably might get 30. That's a far cry from 200, especially when we have people still sleeping under other people's houses, people sleeping in the bush, people sleeping in the marketplace. This is real. And this is the St. Patrick that this government have created for you and for me. And it's a time that we now have to stand up. We have to look forward. We have to call for the investments in our farmers. We have to call for the support for our poor and our vulnerable. We have to call for the support for our elderly. We have to call for the opportunities for our youth. We have to call for the training and the education for our young people so that we can continue to grow together and we can grow our rural economy. Vote, support the new National Party. Get registered. Ensure you speak to your family, your friends, because the new National Party is here for you. The new National Party is here for St. Patrick. The new National Party is here for a better Grenada for all. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for Brother Jelani Glynn. Yeah. Gentleman just asked me how I get in big so. In order to be a Grenadian right now, you had to have belly. You had to have belly to live in this place. A lot of belly to live in this place. Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, we just want to remind each and every one of you guys, go ahead, get registered, check your voters list. They are not going to steal this or any other general election. And so we want to be prepared and ready. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, also recent, we saw that he was certified. We're a different kind of political party. We don't wait for us to get in government and then send you to school to learn. And you did yesterday telling people cut off mic. We're different. Yeah? We get certified and then we get into government and we ensure that we're educated and certified. Ladies and gentlemen, he hails from the very said constituency. Ladies and gentlemen, here from St. Patrick's we have Brother Butchron John with us. Give him a lusty round of applause. As
brothers and sisters. Now, this is a little too low for me. I can hear you. Good night, NNP. That a little better. Brothers and sisters, tonight I want to speak to you on 3 fundamental issues. And as you know, I am a man of very few words. Therefore, I would not be long. So I just want your attention for a few minutes. Brothers and sisters, I know you are surprised by the look on your face. I can see that, you're looking splendid, but however, I can see that you're looking a little surprised. I know you're saying to yourself, BJ on political platform, the world soon come to an end. I can see that on your faces. Brothers and sisters, it's not the world that coming to an end. It's the end of another political party. It's the end of another political party. You know something? I was coming in here and I met one guy just low down the road there. And him say, BJ, I want to be like you. I say, why you want to be like me? Him say, you okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, a pity he don't know that when I was growing up, it was his grandmother that used to leave a little piece of food and she played for me, But yet still he want to be like me. Brethren, if you're listening, don't try to be like me. Because you know something? I am tormented. I am tormented when the night comes. Sometime last year, there was some senseless killings that was taking place in our country. I went to Liberia and was talking to the guys on the block and said, you know something, brethren, we need to hold it down. We need to calm down things. And we was about to leave. And this old lady came up to me and said, sir, are you working with the government? I said, no, I'm not working with the government. She said, well, I just want you to do one thing for me. I said, what's that? She thought I was some government official. She said, I want them to put back the 150 that they took out, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, this one touched me to the inner core. Every time I'm about to drop asleep in the night, that voice keeps ringing in my head. I want back that 150. And that 150 that you took off from the poor and vulnerable in our country, this is not going down good with me, and it's not going down good with any kind-hearted person in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the decision of one individual. This is the collective decision of a political party. And if you have people making those kind of decisions and setting those kind of policies, you know that we have to get rid of that. There are no two ways about that. So, if you see me on the political platform, it's because those things are bothering me. You told the nation that as soon as you get into office, what you're going to do is to increase the 450 to 650. And when you get there, what you did? You take it off and you increase yours. Well, this country don't belong to you. This country belongs to every one of us. And we're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior in our beloved country. NNPites, I need your support. I need your backing. Because we have one final mission. And that final mission is to rescue our country from rescue our country from this kleptocracy that we have. A kleptocracy is a group of people that come together to rob the state, to thief the money from your country. And if you do so, and you combine that with a kakistocracy, then tell me what you get. I don't call a name, but you should know what exists among us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to prolong in our country for very long again. And if you find a song in militant tonight, it's because the looks on your face. That is raising my moral here tonight. We are going to rescue our country, and we are going to take it back. And we are going to ensure that the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that set out by the United Nations, that Grenada is a part of, are adhered to. How can you, as normal human beings, while you are taking away 150 from the poor and vulnerable in our country, you're increasing your salary by 200 and 300%. Tell me, you know what good leaders will do, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters? Good leaders will cut the pay and increase the poor and vulnerable in our country. That they will do. So don't let those people who come around, like they did almost 3 years ago, this month going to make them 3 years. And don't let them come back again in front of you and telling you all those lies. Don't let them come back again and tell you lies. Don't say I didn't warn you. Let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, You know that this current administration, the way that they do things is that they put the blame on someone else other than them. Could you imagine that this current administration say that nothing in this country had happened from since 1983? Aren't that sounding like mad people thing? I'm not sure if we have some normal people run the country, you know. Because if we do have normal people, they will never make those scrupulous statements. That statement is from the pit of hell. This is a lie and a blatant lie. And we have to fight against those kind of spiritual wickedness in high and low places. We going to trample that and get rid of that once and for all in our country. What happened 3 years ago is not going to happen again. Not under my watch, not in my country, not in St. Patrick's East. It's not going to happen again. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you a little bit about the agriculture sector, because I know that you are saying to yourself, you know something, BJ need to talk to us a little bit about agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, did you see what this current administration would have done to marketing board? As soon as they get into office, you know what they did? They more or less shut down that entity. That entity would have served us well and served the farmers well. For almost 30 years, in fact 30 years plus, that entity had served us and served us very well. And before you get into office, like as though marketing board would have done you something. And what you turn to doing? You turn to more or less shutting it down. And after you did that, you said, you know something? We will fix it back very soon. Well, this is 3 years now. And nothing has happened. Now, ladies and gentlemen, think about burial. We had a hurricane that affected more or less the northern part of our country and Carriacou to a certain extent, Pity Martinique. It didn't affect the entire country. You got money from insurance company that should be used to help and assist the farmers, to help them resuscitate their farms. And what you turn to doing? You turn to taking the money and give your friends. People who are cleaning the cemetery, I don't know what they're growing in the cemetery. They are getting paid of that same funds or from that same funds. And what you turn to doing? The farmers who are working hard, they are complaining that even $4,500 you have issue paying them. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the kind of things that we have to fight against in our country. If our country have to develop and develop properly, there has to be a plan. There has to be a program. There has to be good leadership in order for our country to develop and develop properly. Are we satisfied with the leadership in our country, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, are we satisfied with the leadership in our country? I doubt it very much. And I hope that they are listening tonight. That the people of this country are not satisfied with the leadership of this country. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen, that in our country, we have our farmers that should be growing the food that should be able to sustain our country. What you turn to doing? You turn to talking about you're going to build a new hospital that costs $500 million, $500 million. Are this government getting the priority right? I doubt it very much. $500 million, $500 million. You are saying that you're going to be building. Well, what you should be doing is producing better food in your country for your population. You should ensuring that they don't get sick. You should be ensuring that they eat properly. But You know what is your program? You know what is your policy? Your policy is to make and break. Your policy is to recycle. Let's build new hospital. So as they get sick, we make them get well, and we go back, we'll send you back outside, you get sick again. Ladies and gentlemen, think about it and think about it serious. Are we getting our priorities right? I doubt it very, very much. How can you, as a government, how can you, as a leader, I don't know if you people forgot, but only 2.5 years ago, this current government, you know what they did? They give a huge tax break. Tax break, remember? Yes. They give a huge tax break. You know what they did? They take 500 million, that's what it was. $500 million. That was collected on behalf of the government, and they say something. You can have those. The richer folks in our country, you can have those. We give you a tax break. 2 years later, to balance our budget, you know what they did? They go and borrow 700 million. And that is our representative that we have in St. Patrick's East, And somebody tell me, what you're about. How could you know what you're about? When you give in 500 million, and 2 years later, you're borrowing 700 million. How this mathematics adding up? Well, somebody say back whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the kind of policy, those are the kind of thing that this current administration is doing. Hence the reason I'm standing here. I'm standing here tonight to let you know that you are not alone, that you have a defender, that you have BJ at your disposal. And, ladies and gentlemen, we don't watch in no face, and we're not taking no prisoners. We're just going to cut and go through. Come next election, NNP all the way. Go home and go and tell your friend, and go and tell your mother and your children that, hang on, you know something? We have someone who cares about you and who cares about your country or our country, who is putting up his hand. I am putting up my hand tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm putting it up very high. And because I want you to see me, and I want them to see me too, that tell you what, we're going to have a fight. And we're going to have a fight for our country, because it's not going to... We're not going to sit back and take our debts like sheep. We're not going to do it. So tell them for me, if they're not listening, when you see them, that hang on, you know something? We have one little warrior up in St. Patrick's East, and his name is Butch John. And he's a defender of the poor, a defender of the needy, a defender of the vulnerable in our country. And tell them, I have your backing, and I have your green light.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, one final point. Your political party, NNP. I want to talk to you about your political party for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, NNP have a track record of rescuing this country every time some kleptocracy come and try to mash it up. We proved that many times over. And if we do it then, we're going to do it again. I can look up on your face and I can see the determination. And I want to ensure you, I want to assure you that you have a very capable leader in the name of Emmeline Pierre. Give her a big round of applause for me. I don't hear it that loud, You have a very capable leader. I have been working with Sister Emma for the last 10 years. And if I tell you she good, she good. And trust me, she no good at telling you, she no good here. But she good. Ladies and gentlemen, our political party, NNP, is the best choice for Grenada. The best choice for Grenada. Remember, everyone make mistakes. Everyone. And yes, if somebody come and tell me, you know something, I'm going to build 500 houses in every parish for the next 5 years, I'm tempted to vote for them too, you know. Every year they're going to build 500. And if the hurricane didn't pass, we would not have seen a house. And even if they are building houses now, some of these houses, because of the bandulu activities that involve in some of those activities, they're not built properly. Some of them are leaking. A lot of them are leaking. Because you know why? They call up their friends. That's how kleptocracy work. So they can, go on with their little bandulu kind of activities. So nobody wouldn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want you to know that this ministry that they created called MIT, tell you what, I don't want to say nothing about that. Because if I do tell you how that ministry is operating, you probably will drop dead. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know how that ministry is operating? Jesus Christ. Well, tell you what, I will be shot. You know something, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters? Sometimes you have to look on people's track record and look upon the past and look upon where they place them. And you can tell what kind of activities that are going to derive from such activities. Because you know something, ladies and gentlemen, check the person who leading that ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I just want to tell you that you are in safe hands. You are in safe hands. NNP is your best choice. NNP is your safe choice. NNP have a very well-oiled machinery waiting for when they call the next election. We are waiting to restore and take back our country so we can have a sense, a semblance of realness. We can have a semblance of honesty. We can have a semblance of productivity in our country. Are we satisfied with the way our country is producing our nutmegs and our cocoa and our bananas and all of those? I doubt it very much. Cocoa on the decline, nutmegs on the decline, farmers are struggling. Farmers, somebody said they're struggling, they're balling. Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, those are what we get from this government. What we get from this government is false promises, a whole set of activities that involve a whole heap of lies. That's all they do for you. And sometimes, well, these days they lie so much I can't catch up with them. I don't know what to believe. Ladies and gentlemen, my time is running out, so I cannot stay as long as I want to with you tonight. No, I can't talk for very long. We have a lot of speakers tonight. I know all you want to hear me for the rest of the night, but I can't do that. Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, let's end this meeting tonight on a militant note. Let them know that this country is ours and we're not sitting down and we're coming back for it and we're coming for them too. We're coming for them too. All right? So people who tonight come out here to listen, Sister Emma and Dr. Modest, and me, you see me every day. I just want you to know one thing, that if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for your beautiful faces, if it wasn't for the people who feed me and grow me up in that village here, if it wasn't for the young people who are looking for opportunities, I would not have been here. I would be home watching television. But I love you so, so much that I cannot and I will not back down. I will not leave you in the rain. I am with you and I will always be with you. I will always defend you and I am not going anywhere. Have a good night and you know I love you. Love you so much. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress.
Yes, ladies
Take
and
a good
gentlemen.
look around. The house.
Sometimes it's not the dog in the fight, you know, but it's the fight in the dog. I know he may not sound as powerful like all the other speakers, but his point came across vividly. Yes? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on this evening. So we went St. Patrick's West. We came back to St. Patrick's East. So let me take you to the best parish in Grenada right now. Yeah, I don't mind getting somebody pelting us to me for saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker has been a part of this political organization for in excess of 20 years. Her love and service for this country has been throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. You can call her one of the most successful female politicians in Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak of none other than Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest Cowan.
Are you ready?
Move it,
Yes, we move it.
move it,
And then we move it.
move it.
Yes, we move it.
Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
Old people did say back long time ago, if something ain't break, don't fix it, leave it so. And up to this day, this I still maintain. This is why I say Nazim never again. Everybody know about 6 years ago where this country were, we can't go back there no more.
Thank you.
Not saying we reach, but we are.
Sisters gathered here for cheering me on to come onto this podium. That is why I am still here. That is why my voice will be reverberating through the whole of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, because of the people who put us there and the people that we have served and has worked with us over the years. And we see your troubles, brothers and sisters. We see your pain and we see your woes. And as long as those problems continue, we of the NNP will be there. So tonight, I am really proud to be on this platform, especially with our dynamic political leader, Sister Emmeline Pierre. Sister Emmeline, I'm happy to be here. To my dear brother, Bertrand J, BJ, from St. Patrick East. And dynamic young brother Jelani, I am happy to be here because we have a philosophy that only speaks in the interest of the people. Because we love the people and we care about our country. That is what unites us, brothers and sisters. Not greed and hunger for money. We are here because we care. NNPites! NNP! NNPites! Good night, everyone. I can't forget that. But I must also greet my brothers and sisters and all Grenadians. They may not be NNPites, but all the patriots who care about their country and care about the people living in the Tri-Island state. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to talk a little bit on health. I've always been happy to take the opportunity to talk about health. Sometimes I talk about good things that have been done, and sometimes I have to criticize when it's necessary, especially when there's pain and suffering. Brothers and sisters, the times have not always been good. NNP may have made a mistake here and there. We are the first to admit it. But this is the worst in all the years. All my years as a doctor, as a physician, and all my years as a parliamentarian. This is the worst I have ever seen. This is the worst that Grenada has experienced. Brothers and sisters, it is very sad. It is heartbreaking to talk about what is going on, knowing that even as I speak, there are persons in the hospitals, there are persons at home who are suffering with no hope in sight. Because they know the kind of people who hold the reins. They know the unconscionable people who hold the monies and who are misusing it and abusing our monies. And instead of doing for the needy, all they care about are the greedy. So, brothers and sisters, sorry, just give me a few seconds here. Now, in our last sitting in Parliament, a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, not sure, I heard from the other side, the government side, that they're coming with a big surprise. Some big news. And when I also heard the Minister for Health said it, the only thing that came to my mind, at last, Grenadians going to get better health care. Something must come there for us to rescue us immediately from what we're going through. Brothers and sisters, I thought perhaps the Minister for Health and the Prime Minister of this country, I thought they will tell us that a shipment of medication is on its way and will land in the next day or two, so that Grenadians who cannot purchase medication would get some medication. The people who are diabetics, the people who are high blood pressure, the people in the hospital who are waiting with a prescription in their hand every day, waiting for a family or waiting for a friend to come so they could go and hoping that they have a money in their pocket too. Because if they come with no money, no medication still, waiting for them to come and take the prescription so that they can go and buy from the private pharmacies, so that the person in the hospital can get some medication. So if nobody comes, they stay another day. No antibiotics, nothing for the pain, no drips, all kind of thing, brothers and sisters. We have never had it so bad. So we say, maybe if they talk about an arrangement that they set up with the OECS PPS, all the time here talk about that. That is the institution in the region that serve the Eastern Caribbean countries, and they purchase medication for us at the best prices. They sell it to us without any significant profit, just to keep themselves going. And all the other islands in the Eastern Caribbean use that facility. Only Grenada, them bright people up there, they prefer not to get it, not to use that facility, even though many times the facility would credit us and take the pay. You know how we don't say pay piece? They pay piece by piece. They don't want that. But they're living high, brothers and sisters. They're flying high every day. So we didn't hear about any large shipment. We didn't hear about any contract with the OECS PPS, any commitment to get the medication and the supplies. So I say maybe the child who been lying there in the pediatric ward for more than 60 days. And the parents and the family who going around seeing if they could get a little money here and there, collect on the truck and on the buses, brothers and sisters. And those who find a little thing on the weekend to raise funds. I say maybe the government take pity on those people and that poor child in the pediatric ward, and they announcing that the next day that child will be on a plane to Jamaica where she will get some treatment. Nothing so, brothers and sisters. So shortly afterwards, I hear about a press conference, and then what they announce, a state-of-the-art hospital and a lot of other things that I won't waste your time with. Because I know what your priority is. And everyone, all of us would love a state-of-the-art hospital. All of us would like a big brand new hospital where we could go and roll off. But brothers and sisters, when you're in pain, Project Polaris can't help you now. You want medication now. When you have to get antibiotics, you want it today. You want it this minute. You don't want it 10 years it's going to take for Project Polaris to come on stream. You want it now. When your child is suffering, when your mother is suffering, your brother. I visit the hospital every now and then, and I know. And I pick up prescriptions, and I help with the medication. I don't have to call names. But them people and them, they're so bad-minded. I go tell you, they could have learned from NNP. So people want to know what NNP would have done first. NNP would have started off where we used to go before. NNP, you know what we used to do? We had arrangements. Because I talk about the medication, I ain't talk about the scan yet, you know. And I ain't talk about the blood test yet. You have to have $1,000 in your pocket to go to the private sector. Some of you all have told me your troubles. I know it, I'm not making it up. And so, the thing is, what we used to do, we had an arrangement with the private sector. If we CT scan break down or the ultrasound break down, we have a credit there. We call them up. We have John James coming to do an ultrasound because John James cannot afford. Now, we couldn't do it for everybody. And we're never going to promise that, brothers and sisters. But for the people who needed it, NNP in government was there for the people. Because we knew that we were there by the people that voted for us. And so we had to serve them. And we did that with pride and with dignity, brothers and sisters. So, we don't mind the state-of-the-art hospital. We don't mind the big reputable institution that is supposed to come. We would love that, but in its time. Because if you're going to pay a company $2.5 million, I don't know if it's every month, every year, we have to find out that still. But if you, US dollars, they multiply that by 3. If you're going to pay them that money to manage, and you don't have medication, what are they managing? What they managing, brothers and sisters? Ask yourself that. And so you're paying them for 10 or 15 years while you look for the money to buy the medication, while you fix whatever machines that break down, while you pay the staff on time, brothers and sisters, while you manage the hospital, the little one that we have there well, so that people are fed their meals. You know how many times the food get chucked there? They chuck it there and they go. Frustration. Maybe they pay late. Maybe some of them that were promised, how you call the minimum wage, they ain't get it yet. So the poor patient getting it. So I want to say to the workers, don't let the frustration make you take it out on them. Stand up for your right. Speak up where you have to speak up. Stop. How did I say it again? They're bawling. They're bawling with their mouth closed. Stop bawling with your mouth closed. Speak up. You deserve the right. You have a right to speak. You are a Grenadian. You pay taxes. They came and they offered us everything and all empty promises. So how we go believe in Project Polaris? It may be a good project. Mount Sinai may come, But how we gonna believe you when everything you promised us 3 years ago, you turn your back on the people and they are worse off than they were before. And even when you got a hurricane money to help you out, people are no better. You couldn't take out of how much? 18, 20 million dollars. You couldn't take a little 10 million to buy medication. So we should have seen an improvement after the hurricane because we got money. We should have seen more Panadols after the hurricane because they had money. And the budget year finished. And they still didn't spend all the money on paper. But we don't know what they do with it. I don't know if it's private plane. I don't know if it's first class. What did they do with the nation's money? It belonged to you. It's time to stand up and talk, brothers and sisters. So, brothers and sisters, we heard nothing about the laboratory reagents. You know what is that? Those different things that they use in the lab to test so that they might know what is wrong with you. And even when they know what is wrong with you, brothers and sisters, they want to know how you're doing, how you're progressing. You're getting worse, you're getting better. Sometimes you need a lab test. Bonje, poor Grenadians. If you don't have the $2,000, the $1,000, don't brace. Don't brace. Where is that money going? Where is it going? Who is using it? What is happening? We need to stand up and talk, brothers and sisters. But Abijay said, when you live here, you have to be more militant. Doesn't mean you have to be violent, but you have to speak up. You have to talk up, brothers and sisters. Because they bowl, you know. They bowl, taking all projects that don't belong to them. But we won't sit down and take it. So, brothers and sisters, yes, as I said before, we experience some shortages, time and again. But never this prolonged. It's as though it have no end. Never this chronic. This shortage has become a disease in itself. All the good things for Grenadians fall short. You don't have that, they don't have this, you don't have that. But all of the things that cost a lot of money, because I'll tell you, even for health, in the last budget cycle, whatever little money they put for health, they did not use all. So where were the ministers? Where was the prime minister? Where was the government? When people bawling they don't have medication, how could you not use all the money that you say you put in the budget? And maybe you use it, but you don't tell us. It's a possibility, you know. Maybe it was used, but what was it used for? But let me tell you something more. Let me tell you something more, brothers and sisters. Every one of the travel budget was exceeded. They had to take money from elsewhere to cover the travel. Every ministry over-traveled much more than what they budgeted for. How long will we take that, brothers and sisters? How long will we sit down and say, give them a chance? 3 years? 3 years is too long. You give them a little 4 months or 6 months. But they have been tried, brothers and sisters, and they have been found wanting, badly wanting, brothers and sisters. And we can't wait for 5 years. We got to do what we got to do to put back NNP in power, because you know what NNP did for you and what NNP stand for. Brothers and sisters, we had a good, well-structured system whereby persons who needed treatment that they couldn't get here, they could have gone to Cuba. We had a good arrangement. Once the people and them come, they throw it down. Now I know Cuba has problems too, but they throw it down. And then when they ask them, how will you treat with Cuba? They say that is for the company that come in to deal with. Cuba, a friend there, watch these people and them, they're dangerous. So brothers and sisters, we also, I mentioned before, we used to help people when they could not pay the private laboratories. And we used to give people a money that could make a difference if you have to go abroad for treatment. Because if your treatment is 100,000 US dollars, and I give you $1 as a government, it can do nothing for you. So what is the money being used for if you're not prioritizing healthcare, brothers and sisters? So brothers and sisters, I want to see how they tell that poor child that I don't think the child has left yet, you know. I checked today and that poor child is still there. So how are you going and talk about Project Polaris or however they pronounce the word? I can't pronounce it good because the people who stay in it, their tongue light. But how are you going and tell a mother that you cannot help her to go to Jamaica to treat her child because the big hospital coming in 10 years' time? Tell that to them. The person who goes to the government pharmacy and cannot get medication, how are you telling them wait for Project Polaris? But they're bold. They're bold, brothers and sisters, because they have done a lot of wrong things and have gotten away with it. And instead of they telling themselves enough is enough, let us pay attention to the people who put us there. Instead of that, they ride the backs of the people and take advantage of the people, brothers and sisters. But it's up to you and it's up to us here, every one of us as Grenadians, and it's up to those in the diaspora as well. They have family here too who's in trouble. It's up to all of us to stand up and say, enough is enough, brothers and sisters. So my dear brothers and sisters, we know it's a traveling government. They have press conference. Well, all of a sudden they're having press conference like crazy now. But when they used to get the burning questions, they have press conference because they realized they could travel. And when they come back, nothing to show. Nothing to show. So all press conference stop. All of a sudden, Project Polaris, the greatest thing on earth is here. So they have courage to have that. But we got to tell them that can't fool us. Every election, NDC before them come with big design for hospital. We still don't get it yet. So they come and they think they could fool us for long. They fooled some of us for a short period of time. Brothers and sisters, they fooled some of us. They didn't fool me, but they fooled some people. Don't let it happen again. Let them know we have learned our lessons. Let them know that the children in the school feeding program balling. No food. They're sending notes and tell the parents, send their children to school with food tomorrow, because no, that never happened on the NNP. And it will never happen when NNP takes its rightful place and comes back in the government to serve the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We are not just a party of the poor and defendants of the poor. We are a party who could meet everybody at every level. And NNP has proven it before. That is why the dollars used to flow in the businesses. Why are so many businesses closing down? Brothers and sisters, stand your ground. Speak for your rights. Those who in government work, tell them pay all you so all you won't take it out on other people. And let us put our hands together, hearts together, and let us bring NNP back into office and rescue Grenada from this damage.
The NDC administration failed in the first term, and they're begging for another one. Sing for them, sing for them. They're going the wrong way. Mash up NDC. They're going the wrong way. Cannot run this country. They're going the wrong way. The leader don't listen. They're going the wrong way.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, yeah.
The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress, we moving on. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress, take a good look around. The house solid and the pillars The new national party, Dr. Kid
We want to
administration.
encourage each and every one of you guys to get registered. Don't forget it is important to inform friends, family to get registered. Check the voters list. Ensure that we start putting the work in. Know there are young persons within the community. Reach out to them, let them know the process and procedures in terms of registration. Yes? To the persons that are viewing on the social media platforms, we want to say a pleasant good evening to you, especially the persons out there in the diaspora. We want to say pleasant good day to you guys. The New York chapter of the New National Party. I know many of you guys are out there. Yes, it is a very fit gentleman, so I know he's ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the speaker I'm about to introduce you to is no stranger to the platform of the New National Party. A matter of fact, he is the most important and most proven political leader and prime minister ever seen in the Caribbean. That, ladies and gentlemen, is uncompared. For present chairman of the New National Party, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell.
Strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillars.
Good evening to all my brothers and sisters. Good evening, everybody. First of all, let me recognize the platform speakers or political leaders, the Emlyn Pair. Your caretaker for the constituency of St. Patrick East, Brother BJ. And of course, Brother Delano, who is here with us, the caretaker for St. Patrick West. My dear sisters and brothers, all. First of all, let me apologize for being here late. I had a meeting in my own constituency because we have to keep the politics live throughout the length and breadth of the country. So I was taking care of home turf when I come to River Sallee to speak to you. But friends, before I say anything else, let me make this point. Anytime I come to River Sallee, I must remember Brother Adrian Spaceman Mitchell. Must remember him for his dedication to this area, to the constituency, and to sports in general throughout the length and breadth of our country. But most importantly, the lady that you see here tonight as a political leader was introduced to me by Adrian Spaceman Mitchell. I'm sure she will speak to that tonight. But friends, as I was saying to my own constituency this evening, and they all agree with me, and there are elements there who did not even vote for me last time while we got over 80% of the votes. They said that they are very disappointed in what they see happening in the country at this time. They are basically saying they have never seen it so bad. They have never seen it so bad. So even top, long-serving members of the National Democratic Congress are refusing to defend the present government led by Dick Mitchell. And the reason is fundamentally this, sisters and brothers. There is no understanding of what you need to do to manage a country and to develop a country. They simply don't have a clue. None of them, if you ask them what is the basic ingredient of getting a country going, could answer properly. That is a fact. Not speaking alone is the fact of lack of knowledge. The lack of understanding, because you know something? They saw government as getting into power to enjoy themselves and to live nice. They never understood when you get into government is the hardest thing in your life. Because if you came to serve, you have to work hard. You have to make sacrifices. And you have to do things because you have to take care of people throughout the length and breadth of the country. And some of them are the lowest level in the society. But friends, their concept was, you know, all of them thought that NNP, we were living big and nice. And all they see is, when they get there, all of them gonna have a big car, a lot of money to spend, and they could travel as much as they want, first class, 9 and 10 persons in a plane, filling up every part of the first class of a plane, enjoying themselves, while people catching their nenen in the country, sisters and brothers. Because friends, let me say this. Mount Royal was the home of the Prime Minister of the country. So Eric Matthew Gary stayed in Mount Royal for years. Herbert Blaze stayed in Mount Royal for years. George Brizan, while staying at his home, had all his functions at Mount Royal. Nicholas Braffett, the same thing, sisters and brothers. Tillman Thomas, while living in his own constituency, had a full-fledged staff in Mount Royal for entertainment and other stuff. In other words, they did not hire and rented any other building for the home of the Prime Minister. And your humble servant lived in Mount Royal throughout the entire time I was Prime Minister, outside of the time that I lived at my house in Happy Hill. But this present Prime Minister said Mount Royal ain't good for him. It's good for Keith Mitchell, not people like him. So he's spending over $20,000, sisters and brothers, a month. Costing you over $250,000 a year. You know what that can do for the poor, suffering mothers and children in this country? But his emphasis was not about you. His emphasis is not about the people. His emphasis is not about the poor people who struggle to get the NDC into office. In other words, he didn't even love his own supporters who voted him into office. His emphasis was about himself, to live nice. And they spent in hundreds of thousands of dollars fixing this place and creating extra security activities to protect him, my friends. In other words, it's about them. And that's why we have to be careful. You know something? Friends, the history of this country, and I have to speak to that. I must speak to the history because I was there for a long time. The fact is, sisters and brothers, the NNP was in office in 1984. We lost the election in 1990. NDC came into office, people catch their nenen. You remember how they put down a set of taxes on the people of the country, taxing everything, and I made noises in Parliament and spoke for about 3 days. 3 days in Parliament, sisters and brothers, exposing the National Democratic Congress. The people were bawling in the country while they were there, not serving the people of the land. So in 1995, they brought back the NNP into government. Sisters and brothers, we worked the country, we built our country. By the time we went back into the polls in 1999, they gave us 15 seats, sisters and brothers. Now you don't reward somebody who is treating you badly. So if they voted for us, even in constituency that we never won before, they gave us solid votes. In other words, they were satisfied with the performance of the new National Party. But in life, sisters and brothers, this is what happens to all of us. in whatever undertakings in life. When you have something good and it's there for a long time, you take it for granted and you say time for change. So we were in government for 3 terms and they say they're tired in NMP. They want change. So in 2008, the NDC won the election again. Sisters and brothers, more pain, more suffering. For 5 years, you in River Sallee, you in St. Patrick East, St. Patrick West, you suffered. So you know what happened? You know what happened, sisters and brothers? Within 5 years, sisters and brothers, in 2013 when you went back to the polls, sisters and brothers, you know what they did? The people gave us 15 seats, sisters and brothers. And they were so happy how we govern the country now. Take it for granted, take this point. We won 15 seats on 2 occasions in this country by that time, 1999 and 2013. But no one could say that the NMP victimized them. No one could say that we behaved, that we had power, and to hell with people. No one could say that we were vindictive and they fear the NNP and they're afraid to go to a meeting, they're afraid to talk because they might lose their work. Sisters and brothers, because we believe in fundamental freedom and rights of the people. We believe that in a society, a democratic society, no one should expect everybody will support the same damn thing. Therefore, they have a right. The people have a right to have differences of opinion. So while you want the majority of people, expect there will be people opposed to you. Today, a little boy come in office and he decided we can't speak. He never knew anything about the people of Grenada. He never had a history of commitment to the people of Grenada. He never did anything to show that he loved people. He has no interest in the development of this country, only about himself. That's why he's on the plane. He's on the plane every day, enjoying himself abroad. But the NNP have news for him. We have news for him because we have a lady in St. David's called Nolan. Nolan Thompson will take care of him. So Emlyn don't have to worry at all. I hear he running around now. He's afraid to play now. He's running around like a mad dog, Nolan in his skin. Sisters and brothers. And you know something? You can mess around, but when you hear you have a woman in your skin, you better be careful. Because men might make joke, but women don't make joke. So I'm making the point, sisters and brothers. In 2018, they gave us 15 seats again. You know why? Because they were satisfied that the NMP was performing, that we are treating people. Sisters and brothers, we cared about people at all levels in the society. The man who had his business cannot say the NNP was against him. The public servants could not say the NNP was against him. They had the best time when NNP was in office. The police officers could not say that they were afraid of doing the things that they have to do. And they were instructed to do all sorts of foolishness. Sisters and brothers, and the poor people could say that NMP has always cared for them. In fact, they used to say the NMP cared about poor people like Sir Eric Matthew Gary used to do in his days. So that when we put out road work, sisters and brothers, you see the bushes now, you drive in the streets and you can't see the road from the bush. You cannot see the road from the bush. When our time now, so you have over 6,000 people on the road. You know why? Because the NNP understood that we have to take care of our environment. We have to take care of our environment. But we also have to take care of the poor people of this country. So that's why, sisters and brothers, when you walk around the country, in NNP time, you see all the shops busy. The tailor busy. The stores busy. Sisters and brothers, the fishermen doing the thing, sisters and brothers. The vendors busy, they're doing well. Today, all shops balling, sisters and brothers. Because they have no road work for the poor people of this country. And they're not taking care of the environment. Because that's a fundamental thing. So when you put out the poor people to work, you're doing two things, sisters and brothers. You're cleaning your streets. You're protecting the environment from mosquitoes and other things. But you're also providing economic activity. The bread must spread throughout the length and breadth of the country. Everybody must learn to eat a food, sisters and brothers. So we would not have been spending a lot of millions of dollars and traveling all over the place. The ministers in the NNP government will know that before you travel, you come to cabinet. And you have to explain why and how much money is involved. No one could have made, even me, as Prime Minister, I had to follow the same rules. And if I was going on something private, I paid my own money. The taxpayers' money were not used. But every Tom, Dick, and Harry today, riding on your money, your taxpayers' resources, sisters and brothers. And the point I'm making, sisters and brothers, whenever NNP is in office, the people benefit. Whenever NDC is in office, the people suffer. So I'm saying to you, get ready. Get ready to relieve your suffering and to vote solidly for the new National Party. You have a man in St. Patrick's East here who loves people. A man of service. He says he's not a politician, and I agree with him. But you know, sometimes you don't need politician. What you need is a man of service. You need a man of character, a man of love, a man of peace. That is BJ, sisters and brothers. And I'm proud to stand on my platform and voice that commitment of his service to the people of St. Patrick's and the people of St. Patrick East. So friends, we could talk about all kinds of plans going forward, but you know, the NNP, you know something? They come to government. They made they boasted they met a pregnant treasury. You remember that? They say they never know Keith leave all the money in the treasury. So they made $500 million. They sell passport like how you're selling hot bread and butter, right? And they were the first used to criticize the CBI program, you remember? But we were very careful how many people that we gave citizenship to. Man, they're selling them like hot bread. All who want it, come. All who want it, come. Well, I hear some big scandal now brewing. You're going to hear a lot of things about that. A big scandal brewing. But friends, the point is, we recognize that we had to move the country forward. So that is why we created those opportunities, sisters and brothers, to move our country forward. And they were very critical of it. But today, sisters and brothers, that's what they're doing. So we are saying what they need is a plan of action to move our country forward. And there is no such plans. There are no such plans. And it's the NNP, sisters and brothers, that has consistently come into government and put plans in place. But today what happened? Every project NNP had. Listen. Could you imagine this? Listen to that one. They had a project in my constituency in Mount Kuma. That's when you're leading from Grenville to Bolio. If you want to head up, I passed that area there tonight, coming up. And you know something? This guys came into office, the project was finished. Completely finished. But those characters, those, I don't want to spoil them Emlyn meeting, no? So I don't want to say nothing bad. Don't spoil it. They tell me don't spoil it. So them friends, my friends, Them guys come in the same 2 weeks after they come in. They go and open the road and they say, come give us praise for the road we now open. But 2 weeks after they came, they opened the road, you know. They never even sent an invitation to Brother Nolan Cox, who was the Minister of Works, who was responsible for the building of that road. Because when I called him earlier and said we have to get this going, he moved immediately and started. Sisters and brothers, the work in Molinier with that slide there. We budgeted $11 million and started that road almost 4 years ago. Up to now, the road can't finish. And they have spent over $30 million already on that road. Bubble for so, sisters and brothers. Bubble for so, sisters and brothers. But you know, in charge, they say Andy is in charge. Well, you know, if Andy in charge, you know what you're getting. My friends, there's another road in Diamond and St. Mark's. That area up there, near the tongue of St. Mark's, Victoria. That road has started almost 4 years now. It's still going on. Can't finish. Millions of your dollars going down the drain while people catching the nenen in the country because they're just enjoying themselves. But friends, I could tell you this. What guys do not know, and I warn some of the public servants must take warning. You do not allow politicians to tell you to do something wrong. Because one day, Congo te. Make sure when a politician call you and tell you do something that is not right, tell him put it in writing. So that the day comes and there is an investigation, then your name would be cleared. I telling my friends in the public service to be careful. Because the NNP believe in accountability and transparency. I wonder where Brother Tillman is now. Brother Tillman used to talk about transparency and accountability. I'm not hearing him at all now. So tonight, I'm calling on my good brother, my saintly brother Tillman Thomas. Come out to the nation and tell them about the lack of accountability and transparency in this character that's running this country at this time. So friends, I don't want to keep you much longer because I know you want to hear your leader. But listen this. I want to give a little warning to us. There are some people going around now. Some people who are with the NNP and they wanted leadership. Let me talk about them. I ain't going to tell you all yet because I have a lot more to say. Because I have nothing to lose. I have done my journey. I've run the race. And I'm ready to support new horses. New horses, sisters and brothers. But while I'm supporting the new horses, I will be there with them, working to build back this beautiful country of ours. So let me talk about them. They wanted leadership. And they tell you the NNP was the best thing in the world. Everybody was so good and the country was so good. And but because the NNP supporters were smarter than some of them, they decided, because they did not get the votes of the people, the next week they're gone. And NNP is the worst thing. NNP is the worst thing. And they want to form party. You 70-something years, you know forming party. I formed party when I was 48 years, sisters and brothers. Tell the brother, bring back the age or find a better source of opportunity for his life, sisters and brothers. And I say to them, and you need to be careful. When they come in to you and tell you to vote for them. Well, let me say, a vote for the movement is a vote for the National Democratic Congress. because they know they can't win anything, but they want to spite the NNP. So the movement is a spiteful organization. It has no interest in governance of the country. It has no interest in betterment for the people of this country. It's about self. I am saying my service to this party and the country is well known. I did what I have to do for my country, whether as captain in the country's cricket team and playing Windward Island cricket, whereas being a teacher and academic and doing what and serving the country regionally and internationally. The NNP has a contact regionally and internationally to move Grenada forward. So let us say to the movement, move movement, go away movement. Thank you. Good night.
Nobody can beat the NNP. That's right. NNP is a winning party. Nobody can stop the NNP.
Yeah.
NNP is the party for we.
Yeah.
Nobody can beat the NNP.
For those of us
tell you that NNP is a winning party. Nobody can stop the NNP.
Ladies and gentlemen, our former Prime Minister and party chair, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you can also go on to www.subscribetonnp.org and get all the information and updates. And we want to implore of you guys. Many of you guys are going on to Facebook and other social media, and you guys are sharing all the wrong things. Go onto the party's website and you would get valuable information. Yes? And you can share that, and you can also subscribe and get it from the horse's mouth, instead of you going and hear all the other things that you're hearing in all other places and you're not sharing the correct things. All right? We have our work to do in St. Max. Dr. Modest and I, we're going to let you guys know during the week. Bonnet Bridge is not theirs. Let them know that. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our final speaker for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, our present political leader, her service to state and party have been seen and recognized throughout the length and breadth. Even now, as the opposition or his opposition leader, she's already intermingling and involving all Grenadians involved. When NNP win, everybody wins. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, Honorable Emmeline Pear, our political
like it was campaign. Let's get down to business. The campaign has not started. NNPites, River Salleyites, St. Patrick's Grenada, Caracou, and Pitimatnik. I want to greet tonight every single one of you who are here tonight. I want to especially recognize all Grenadians who are viewing online, whether here in Grenada or in the diaspora. But I want to especially greet tonight on the platform our former Prime Minister and former political leader of the New National Party, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Let me also recognize a stalwart woman of this party, Sister Clarice Modest Cohen, parliamentary representative for St. Mark. I recognize our two caretakers, other two caretakers who are here, Brother Jelani Glean, St. Patrick's West, and Brother Bertrand John, St. Patrick East, and to all of you, Grenada, who are here tonight, whether live or you are here on stream. Brothers and sisters, tonight, I want to begin by empathizing with all of you. And by that I mean, I am putting myself tonight in your position, in your situation. Because having listened to the previous speakers and having engaged with so many of you, I say tonight that we are in a situation where as a political organization, we must empathize with the people of this constituency, the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. But brothers and sisters, in addition to empathizing and understanding your situation, we have a responsibility to advocate on your behalf. We have a responsibility to defend you. We have a responsibility to stand up on behalf of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. But we also have a responsibility, brothers and sisters, to provide hope to the people of this country. And that is why tonight I want to say to all of us who are here, that as we move forward, it is extremely important that we build this country on pillars of unity. What do I mean by this? I mean that every single one of us have a responsibility in the building of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter the class that you come from. It doesn't matter the religion that you belong to. It doesn't matter the political party that you support. We are first Grenadians. And we are first responsible to ensure that this country, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, that we remain proud of our country. And that is why, brothers and sisters, after 50 years as an independent nation, we are gone past 50 years. And we cannot afford at this time, brothers and sisters, to speak in the language of our current Prime Minister of them and us. There must be no them and us when we speak about Grenada. It must just be us, one people, one nation under God. And that is why I say to you that the future of this country must be hinged on that of unity of our people. So whether you're green or you're red or you're blue or you're whatever, we remain one people under God. And that is why we are committed. I am committed, brothers and sisters, to breaking down some of the barriers that divide us as a people. Too much victimization, too much bullying, brothers and sisters. Too many people are suffering the pain of division in this country. I must say this. I must say this. Some of you would remember it was probably a few weeks before Christmas, right in this very community here, we received an invitation from a Grenadian who lives in the diaspora. And this gentleman decided that he was going to do a cook for some children of this community. And he invited myself, he invited Dr. Mitchell. He's a member of the NNP support group in New York. Brothers and sisters, some of you know the story, but I'm going to share it tonight for those who don't know the story, because there must be an end to victimization. There must be an end to division in this country, and we must continue to call for the uniting of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. So we visited, brothers and sisters, our brother just down the street, a stone throw from where we are right now. I got there first time visiting that shop right here. Everybody knows it as Mene's shop. I did not even know who the owner of the shop was. In my usual fashion, the children were outside. There were about 10 people inside of the shop. And in my usual fashion, I entered the shop. I made one wrong. I shake everybody's hand, and I came outside. Some of you were there. If you had asked me that day who the owner of the shop was, I couldn't tell you because I did not know. I saw people, I greeted them, I came outside, I interacted with the children, and I left. Brothers and sisters, the owner of the shop, who I understand is employed with the government of Grenada, was called in by a supervisor and questioned about my involvement and the involvement of Dr. Mitchell in an activity in his shop. But you see, it wasn't just that, brothers and sisters. The individual was transferred immediately. And I say to you tonight, it is high time that we bring down victimization. I say to you tonight, it is high time that we bring down bullying in this country. And it is high time that we call for the uniting of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Brothers and sisters, I can give you so many other examples. But tonight I want to speak to a couple other issues. And so I wish to move on. We collected some data in this parish. And brothers and sisters, the statistics shows us more than 50% of the people interviewed, they identified two areas as their biggest concern: healthcare and cost of living. Our speakers tonight spoke about those issues. So you see, when people say we're talking too much, when people say we're addressing some things over and over, you could understand why. Because we understand how the people feel and what the people are going through. Because those are the issues. As a matter of fact, every constituency in this country that we've surveyed, the key issue that comes up over and over and over, the high cost of living. People are saying cost of living is killing them. And so this is why we address these issues over and over. The other three issues: unemployment, particularly here in St. Patrick, crime, and housing. But I want to speak briefly on the subject of housing, particularly as it relates to St. Patrick. Brothers and sisters, I want to speak of housing in the context of Hurricane Beryl. So tonight, I'm going to remind you that this administration was voted into office on one of its promises that said, we will build 500 Grenadian-style houses every year. Not one of those houses have been built as yet. We are on year number 3, and we are ending year number 3. Promise made, promise not kept. But you see, brothers and sisters, I'm not even speaking about those houses. So we should be 1,500 houses. 0 so far. I am not speaking about the hundreds of houses that were built by the People's Republic of China to be distributed to persons who are in need. hundreds of houses. I'm sure about 200 in St. Patrick. Am I right? About 200. Brothers and sisters, I'm not even talking about those houses yet. I am talking tonight, brothers and sisters, about the houses that were promised by this administration after the passage of Hurricane Beryl, when the government received funding for the construction of many of these houses. Brothers and sisters, in the supplementary estimate in 2024, under the ministry of MIT, brothers and sisters, $8 million was allocated specifically for St. Patrick. But it didn't stop there. An additional $15 million was allocated, this time to build 200 houses between St. Mark and St. Patrick. Brothers and sisters, we talking millions, 15 plus 8. And those were monies that were allocated in the supplementary budget for St. Mark and St. Patrick. Brothers and sisters, we are still waiting on the report. We are still waiting on the report of these houses. Where are they? Do not show us one house. Show us where you would have built the 200 houses for the people of St. Patrick and St. Mark. It is so painful, brothers and sisters. It is so painful that today, almost 1 year after the passage of this hurricane, people are still wetting. People are still under tarpaulin. People are still taking a rest by a neighbor. Where are the 200 houses? Well, it should be about 250 based on the supplementary budget. But you know what is sad, brothers and sisters? Listen to these figures. In the 2025 budget, brothers and sisters, the ministry reported that $28 million was allocated to that ministry. $28 million. Brothers and sisters, when asked, how much did you spend? They would have spent 36 million. So they got 28 and they spent 36, and we are still yet to see the houses that were supposed to be built. Now you say you can't build because you don't have labor, but you're spending the money. The question is, what are you spending the monies on? What are you overspending on? When you don't have labor, labor is your excuse, so you cannot deliver the houses. So no houses, but we overspending on the budget. Something must be wrong somewhere. Something must be wrong somewhere. Brothers and sisters, the cost of living was raised earlier. But I want to say to you, as it relates to housing, when Hurricane Ivan passed, the NNP administration never went crying on a press conference. Imagine this. By December, the government promised they were going to deliver 80 houses in Carriacou, the Build Back Better houses. Yesterday, I listened to Minister M. How many houses did you deliver? M. Brothers and sisters, I was so embarrassed that of the... I thought he wanted to say Emmeline. I was so embarrassed that of the 80 houses that were supposed to be built since December, we are now in June. The minister reported that only 11 houses were delivered. What a shame. What a shame. And then he blames the problem to be that of labor. Brothers and sisters, when Ivan came, did you ever hear us complain? Did Did you ever hear us cry and blame other people? We found solutions to the problems that we face. And that is why NNP established what we call the ARD. It wasn't perfect, but we found solutions to the problem. That is why we went to neighboring countries and we brought in labor to ensure that people got back under the roofs as quickly as possible. You see, what I'm going to tell you tonight, that what we need is a government that works for you, not a government that complains. You want a government that delivers on promises, not complain. So imagine, could you imagine this? After 1 year, you counting houses that an NGO come from Trinidad to build. You shouldn't be counting those houses. What did you do? That is the question that you have to answer. And that is why I'm saying to you that an NNP administration would have dealt with this housing issue in a totally different way. We would have partnered with neighboring countries, whether Trinidad, whether Guyana, wherever, name it. And we would have ensured that we had the labor on island to ensure that those houses were built in the timing that they were supposed to be built. But brothers and sisters, the chaos that exists in the government as it relates to housing, I am not even going to go into the details tonight, but I say to you, you need a government that knows what it is about. You need a government that knows how to function in the midst of a crisis, and that is how you measure leadership. Leadership that could stand up in a storm. Leadership that could stand up when there is trouble. Leadership that could stand up when there is a crisis and stand up tall like the NNP did with the passage of Hurricane Ivan. Brothers and sisters, I don't even know where to start on the subject of cost of living. But I'm just going to say to you that anywhere in Grenada you go, it doesn't matter the class. It doesn't matter who the person is. They will tell you cost of living have them in their throat and they are struggling for survival. Brothers and sisters, in 2022, you went and buy a pound of turkey and you would have paid about $5. How much is a pound of turkey in 2025? You would have gone to buy a pound of chicken wings and pay $4.50, $4.25. Question is, how much is a pound of chicken wings today? In some cases, $6. And that is why the struggle is real. The struggle is real. The consumer price index, that's where you measure and compare the increase of cost of living prices, things that people consume regularly. Food consistently increasing, medication consistently increasing, and you cannot get relief from this government. Brothers and sisters, I say to you tonight, an NNP administration is ready to bring relief to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We are prepared to implement programs that are going to cushion the rising cost of living. We are prepared to bring programs that are going to empower our people so that they can deal with the rising cost of living. Brothers and sisters, I say to you tonight, we are prepared to do it again, to bring opportunities that put money in people's pockets. We are prepared to do it again, to stimulate the economy so that the money spread to those who don't have and those who have. Brothers and sisters, an NNP administration is ready to serve you again. And that is why we say to you, have hope. Hold on strong. Don't give up. Don't give up. Better days. Better days. Better days. Better days are coming. Sister Clarice spoke extensively on the subject of health care. And I'm not going to go back into this. It's just a painful, painful story. And you know what is worse? The most painful part, I think, of this whole story is when you get a call that says, a week now, mommy in the hospital. Mommy don't have medication. Miss Pierre, could you do something to help us to buy some medication to bring for mommy in the hospital? Brothers and sisters, it's painful. And there are people who are leading this country and they are acting as if they don't know what is happening. And probably they genuinely don't know because they hardly live here. But I want to say to you tonight, brothers and sisters, the new National Party, we are preparing and ready, brothers and sisters, to ensure that we bring better health care to the people of this country. Quality, accessible, affordable health care to the people of this country. That is why we said it to you before, and we have not changed our views on national health insurance. And I want to say to you what we said to you, but you see, some people were not listening. Some people were not listening. Because you see, if we had national health insurance now, nobody have to call Clarice Modest, nobody have to call Jelani Glean, nobody has to call Bertrand John, because you take out your insurance card and you go to the pharmacy. You go to the pharmacy and you buy your medication by presenting your card, not money. Mother is sick, brother is sick, you don't have to call Sister Clarice. You take your card and you go to the doctor. You present your card and you get service. That is what the NNP was working on for you. But you see, people were promised Polaris. Polaris ain't working for nobody yet. Polaris is a concept that is in the head of the Prime Minister. We want something that would work for us now. And that is why I believe it was a sin, a crime, to discontinue the contract to bring national health insurance to the people of this country. Brothers and sisters, not everybody can push their hand in their pocket and take out $100 to pay a medical doctor. But you see, with national health insurance, you pull out your card, you present to the doctor, and you receive your service. And that is why NNP is ready. You know, our brother Castaneda, Grenadian of the soil. You know, this politics is something else, you know. Because when we took on Brother Castaneda, Sister Clarice, you would remember that, a Grenadian medical doctor in the U.S., he has been working in several Caribbean islands, implementing similar programs and initiatives. We engaged him. We said, a son of the soil. You know, the NDC in opposition, they were applauding Dr. Ned. They were promoting him as a Grenadian that knows what he's about and could come back to make a valid contribution to this country. They were applauding him then. They came into office, and guess what? They ended the contract with Brother Ned, and Brother Ned is now in another Caribbean country doing the same thing. We are calling on this administration, for the sake of the people, for the sake of the people who cannot afford proper health care, before you push forward with Project Polaris, spending $7 million per year, plus the $400 million that you authorized through the parliament, we are saying push ahead with national health insurance. Brothers and sisters, an NNP administration will ensure that a national health insurance is available to the people of this country. Advanced work. Sister Clarice is there. Advanced work was done. A study was conducted by the University of the West Indies, and several people locally were involved. And I'm saying all we had to do was push through with it and ensure that what NNP started was completed. Brothers and sisters, we want to make sure that health services are available and accessible, and primary health care services in St. Patrick, in St. Mark, making sure that we utilize the polyclinic we constructed in St. John's. Brothers and sisters, we want to make sure primary health care is a priority, and we are coming back to finish the work that we started under the NNP. Brothers and sisters, state-of-the-art equipment. The scanner, the CT scanner that was just commissioned, was brought in here by the NNP administration. I say to you tonight, that was the start. We are coming back to serve the people and to bring more top-of-the-line machinery, equipment to ensure that we have better quality health care in this country. Brothers and sisters, health care is too important to play around. $400 million to be spent in 2025 on Project Polaris, and not one brick would be dug in the soil in that project. We say people deserve better now. People deserve better now. So as I close, brothers and sisters, yes, already. I want to say to us tonight, the New National Party was never perfect. We were never perfect. There were things that we could have done differently. There are some things we did we could have done better. But I say to you, what you have in office now is nothing compared to what the New National Party has done for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And this is not a boast. This is not a brag. This is just a simple fact, brothers and sisters. This administration cannot be compared in quality to the New National Party serving in government. And this is not just my saying. This is the people of Grenada who are calling back every day. They want back the New National Party to continue the work that it has started. I went to a funeral today, about a week before that lady died. You know what was her closing prayer when I left? She said, God, give me life to see NNP come back. It was one of the most painful. I won't tell you what else she said, but that was one of the things she said before I leave. So it was rather painful to leave and to attend that funeral today. So brothers and sisters, this is not just about politics. This is not even about NNP. It is not even about NDC. This is about the future of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And that is why none of us here, none of us online should gamble with the future of this country. We should not gamble with the future of this country. And that is why when I started, I want to close where I started. That is why I said to you, as a party in waiting for governance, as a party that is preparing itself every single day to continue the governance of this country, I say to you, let us stand united as one people, ready to push Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique to the next level. Brothers and sisters, I call on you tonight, unite yourselves. This is not about NNP and NDC. This is about the future of our country. And if we want a brighter future, we're going to do this together. We want a brighter future. We're going to put Grenada first. And we are going to work forward. We're going to move forward. We're going to work hard to ensure that we prepare this future for all of our children and every grandchild, every great-grandchild that every single one of us will ever have. The future of Grenada depends on every single one of you. So may God bless you. May God bless St. Patrick. May God bless Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. I love all of you. And let us continue to do what we have to protect, do what we have to do to protect this country. Good night, everybody.
I know the political leaders started by saying we are not in campaign mood, but the speech that she just gave, the speech that was just given, aren't you not ready to vote? So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out this evening, from the entire executive and the members of the new National Party, Brother John and his entire team for ensuring that the preparation was done. We want to thank Mikey Live. We want to thank each and every one of you guys from each and every constituency that joined us here this evening. We want to say a hearty thank you very much. Get home safely. And as I stated, once you subscribe to the page, you will be informed as it relates to all our meetings that will be happening. So enjoy the rest of the evening and see you again in our next gathering.